The two sisters were living together here. They had been fixing up the home and were so close to having it done when a fire destroyed everything. That's when the chief says he walked back to the equipment rack and put on a full set of gear, then hopped inside the vehicle and took off on his adventure. A witness we spoke with earlier this afternoon says he heard screaming in the streets outside of his home before this. Steelton's first K-9 officers have already hit the ground running. Coming up, a closer look at their skills and how they're serving the borough. Another woman telling us over the phone she feels helpless because 5 young men held up her daughter and her friends last night. To attest to how life-saving it can be, I'm going to introduce you to that woman from York County, Hanover, Tanya Forbes, whose life was saved 18 years ago while giving birth. Tanya, what happened?
Fox 43's Grace Griffaton is following Governor Wolf in his campaign today. She's live outside the Eagle Fire Company in Mount Wolf with more.
Yeah, Evan, this is where Governor Wolf cast his ballot at 3:30 this afternoon. We talked to him and asked him if he feels confident about the election, but he didn't really want to talk about that. He said he's going to let voters decide. But not all the graffiti was as positive as this. Yeah, Jack, that man is now working with police here, offering a $5,000 cash reward, his own money, to catch the person who shot him in the leg back in September. Both canines will have their ceremonial swearing in December 17th. Reporting in Steelton, Grace Griffaton, Fox 43 News.
Get away, because this is Beaver. Get the away. Yeah, that's why like halfway through I had to get my phone out, because I'm like, nobody's going to believe this, you know, Beaver biting my kayak.
Dan Worley and his 7-year-old daughter Layla were kayaking on the Conewago Creek with their dog Ellie Mae when things took a rather rare and terrifying turn. A relentless beaver scratching and biting Worley's brand new kayak.
Then I looked and it was a beaver. It was scratching at it, biting my kayak. You know, I thought that's pretty cool. You know, beaver came up to us and it wouldn't stop, so I used my paddle, tried to hit it to get it away, and it just wouldn't stop.
Realizing the beaver wasn't giving up, Worley used what he had on hand.
I hit him with this a lot. Then once I knew he wasn't stopping, I pulled it in half, and I was holding it like this and beating him with the metal part. I figured that would do more.
It finally let up and went straight for little Layla.
Beaver came up to the kayak and tried to get in the kayak.
I jumped out of my kayak and ran to her. I got to her kayak the same time the beaver did. It climbed up on the back of her kayak, started to, and I had to punch it to get it off because I didn't have anything with me.
How did you feel?
Scared.
Why is that?
That the beaver was gonna chew my kayak.
Eventually, the fight went to shore where Worley killed the beaver. The Pennsylvania Game Commission confirming it had rabies, and since Worley's had to get a number of shots.
I was just worried about her getting bit. That would have been horrible. I couldn't imagine.
Layla's now understandably scared to get in a kayak, but says she may try one day soon. As for Dad, he says he'll definitely be keeping an eye out the next time he's on the water.
Well, it found us. We didn't find it. It found us.
One person involved is already in custody. Thanks so much for being with us tonight. I'm Allie Bradley.
And I'm Jackie DeTore. The incident happening in a usually quiet neighborhood, creating concern among neighbors. Fox 43's Grace Griffaton spoke to a witness who saw it all happen. She joins us now live outside the York City Police Department with the details.
Good evening. Police here now have arrest warrants out for the other 2 people involved in the assault. A witness we spoke with earlier this afternoon says he heard screaming in the streets outside of his home before this. Cell phone video shows the moment a fight escalates in York. 2 women and 1 man attacking a neighbor here on Linden Avenue. When we slow this video down, you can see the weapons police say they had. At least 1 knife and a baseball bat. This guy.
So the incident started right here.
Brandon Groff Wood heard the commotion from inside his house and called 911.
You're just watching this.
I'm watching it happen, so I'm running in here and I'm calling 911. As I'm calling 911, I yell to the lady on the phone, I need an officer now, he's being stabbed.
Schmuck not only stabbed in the head and back multiple times according to police, punched and hit with the bat, which neighbors say looked like this.
She's down there yelling and screaming at the top of her lungs. She's swinging this bat down. I'm a beat your head in and I'm gonna hit you with this bat and I'm not gonna hesitate. So she's swinging it and she's saying I'm not gonna hesitate, but she's still swinging it.
That woman, Ronice Maxwell, who police say didn't hesitate, arrested and charged with aggravated assault and disorderly conduct.
Lo and behold, I didn't see across the street. Here comes her sister and her brother-in-law, her sister's boyfriend. She's coming and she's got knives in her hand. She just kept saying, I'm gonna stab you.
Police now looking for both of those people. Maxwell's sister Nettie, who they say stabbed Schmuck, and Eric Agudio, who allegedly punched him. People on the block telling us this isn't the norm for their neighborhood.
It's a pretty good neighborhood, all in all. I mean, there's definitely worse places you could live in York.
A little concerned because it's usually very peaceful here.
That's very alarming. I had no idea that could happen in this area.
Police say the fight broke out because of a disagreement over a dog. Now, the two people they are looking for, they say, are facing aggravated assault and disorderly conduct charges. If you have any information on where they are, you're asked to contact York City Police. Live in York, Grace Griffaton, Fox 43 News.
And state police in Perry County continue to investigate a hit and run that killed a 29-year-old man. The mother of that victim sitting down with Fox 43 tonight to talk about the investigation and how it's impacting the family. Thanks so much for being with us tonight. I'm Allie Bradley.
And I'm Jackie DeTore. Fox 43's Grace Griffaton has more from Perry County.
We know Pennsylvania State Police seized the Jeep Wrangler that allegedly hit and killed Nick Watson, although they haven't made any arrests yet. Nick Watson's family tells us they are confident authorities will find the person responsible. Meanwhile, they remember the man they say was loved by so many. Close friends calling him a good man and a great father. Family telling us they never really knew how many lives Nick Watson touched until his death.
If anything positive can come out of what happened, we are so humbled at the fact that the people that he has touched are coming from everywhere.
Authorities saying a driver hit and killed Watson early Sunday morning in New Bloomfield. State police finding his body along the side of West Main Street. Troopers later seized the Jeep Wrangler that allegedly hit Watson, but without an arrest.
They have not 110% identified the person driving that vehicle, so they have a lot of work to do.
Even though someone left her son to die, Brenda Watson says she can't be angry.
If I'm angry and I waste that time of my life right now being angry, I'm taking it away from my son.
Instead, focusing on her family and Nick's baby girl, Olivia.
We had to tell her today that her daddy's gone. She did very well. Probably better than I did. I can say that was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. Just explain to her that she doesn't have a father here. And she just simply said to us, I miss my daddy.
Setting up an account in Olivia's name at Orrstown Bank so people can donate towards her future.
It's for something that her father's not going to be here to give her. I want her life to be a success.
We did call Pennsylvania State Police to see what more they could tell us about the hit and run. All they could say is it is an active investigation. Services will be held for Nick Watson tomorrow. In Perry County, Grace Griffaton, Fox 43 News.
The first time it had some colorful language on it. The second time it had a penis on it.
A vandal hitting a number of properties in Jacobus with spray paint.
Don't take this out of context, but this is a crime wave for Jacobus.
Photos sent to us by neighbors. One victim hit not once, but twice.
It pisses me off. You know, it really does. I mean, I've told this story about 8-9 times, and I'm still as mad as I was when I first told it.
Showing us where the person damaged his greenhouse.
But you can see the white speckles here. All this here is where I scraped off.
And where he's painted over vulgar language and images. It's not exactly costing Hoke much, but he says that's not the point.
It's the fact that it's somebody's property. You know, people work hard for their money.
The vandals spray painting properties along 2 different alleys off Main Street.
They hit my building, they hit a parked car up the street, they hit another building.
Not to mention a furniture store and a local lawnmower shop, where surveillance cameras captured someone in the act.
I don't understand, you know, do your parents not love you enough? Did they not discipline you enough?
The mayor telling neighbors, please don't take matters into your own hands.
We don't want people chasing somebody down the alley with a with a piece of lumber, you know, trying to extract revenge or chase him away or anything.
The mayor of Jacobus says use one of these.
Get some pictures when you see something happening. Anybody that's involved, you know, get pictures and call the police right away.
Hoke, though, has his own message.
It's not even good spray paint. Like, if you came up here and you drew like a big sun on here, come let me know.
It was a trip to buy Christmas presents, but now the only thing Nancy Doney and her mother Claudia have are questions.
Just why? Like,
why wouldn't you just stayed?
Yeah, what went through your head? And why leave?
Right.
Like, it could have been just so much simpler.
Troopers charging 26-year-old Michael Castle of Newport after they say he ran into the back of Doney's Ford Focus, destroying a trunk full of gifts for loved ones and a special investment, the car.
I mean, it was my boyfriend and I's first, like, financial thing together. You know, we've had it 2 years now. We were about to have a baby girl. It was just all set up to be a family sedan like it was supposed to be, and now it's not.
The crash happening on Route 34 in Perry County. Doney noticing a truck getting closer and closer, lights blinding her vision in the rearview mirror.
I thought he was going to pass me, and he didn't. He just pushed me. He pushed me 3 telephone poles lengths, and I just tried to keep it off on the road.
Doney gripping the wheel to avoid poles on either side of the road and wondering what the driver would do next.
I got out and he sat there for a couple seconds, backed up, hit a pole, and did a donut and went the opposite way.
How fast do you think he took off?
Pretty quick. I mean, he was sitting at a stop, so I thought he was going to come forward, and he didn't. He just tire squealed and took off.
Thankfully, Doney, her mom, and the baby are okay. Just a little sore and not sure what's next for the expectant mother.
Literally right before Christmas, now I have to find a new car. Like, come on. And how am I going to get around? What if I go into labor? Like, then what?
Giving a candy cane is just one way people spread cheer throughout the holidays. But in this case, it's not about the candy, but what's attached to it. Call the Dusablin family Santa's helpers.
Merry Christmas.
Candy cane bombing, as the little ones like to say, and spreading goodwill. Not what shoppers leaving the grocery store expect, but perhaps what they need.
Merry Christmas.
I'll show you.
A sweet treat with an even sweeter note attached.
In memory of Olivia Grace. Oh, that's a beautiful name.
It's a little card that just explains about what we're doing in honor of her.
I've lost a child too, so I know what you're going to do.
An act of kindness card in memory of Olivia Grace Dusablin.
One time last year we gave it to someone. They were in the car and they didn't see us, and then they looked what was on their windshield and...
Now, did they smile? Or were they like, what are you doing?
Yeah, they smiled.
Bringing those smiles and so many tears.
God bless you. God bless you. Merry Christmas.
Parents who can relate to the pain of losing a child.
Yeah, well, my son was 16, and 18 years later, we lost the other one.
Olivia taking her last breath Christmas Eve 4 years ago.
It was just a sudden fever, which sent her to the hospital, and ultimately it caused her to go brain dead.
Family still not knowing why, just remembering their little girl.
She was spunky, loud, like the rest of them.
Building a castle for Olivia at Mount Joy Cemetery and dedicating all of December and the first 5 days of January to doing good deeds in her name, hoping others pay it forward just the same. And they have. 1,500 people connecting online after receiving an Acts of Kindness card, sharing the good they've done. Dollars left in library books, quarters placed on toy machines, snacks and water left out for delivery drivers. Countless stories of thoughtfulness that make a person stay.
So just, there to let people feel better,
How does it make you feel?
It makes me feel good. It helps too, I think, with the whole healing. I think it's helped me a lot. Watching people get so excited over Olivia, because who she was.
If you'd like to hear how else the family is continuing to honor Olivia, just head on over to our website, fox43.com. As for me, well, it's only right I continue to pay it forward. In Mount Joy, Lancaster County, Grace Griffaton, Fox 43 News. Investigators say people with loved ones at Pleasant Acres Rehabilitation and Nursing Center in York County can breathe a sigh of relief.
This is an isolated incident. There is no danger to those that are currently there. It's just an unfortunate circumstance.
Chief Daniel Stump with Springettsbury Township Police sending that message after the recent death of a woman at the nursing home, 89-year-old Nancy Young, who grew up in Spring Grove. The York County coroner initially ruling Young's death a homicide, a term investigators say didn't sit well among those with loved ones at the facility.
Once people heard homicide, there was a lot of concern.
Young died a week after falling and fracturing her wrist and hip from complications related to those injuries. Investigators finding the fall happened after Young wandered into the wrong room.
The resident in that room asked her to leave, and she shut the door behind Mrs. Young.
Chief Stump saying the two women never had any issues and believing the other woman didn't mean to hurt Young. Even so, a difficult case for investigators.
This investigation is difficult and complicated, considering both people involved suffer from dementia.
Right now, authorities saying they don't have any witnesses who actually saw what happened, taking statements from employees and residents based on what they heard, hoping to give Young's family some closure.
It's bad enough to lose a family member, then on top of it, have a cloud over how that occurred.